Under a new executive order from Donald Trump, transgender women in the U.S. prison system have been transferred to men's facilities, despite multiple court rulings blocking the policy, according to civil rights attorneys and testimonies from those affected. The executive order, issued on Trump's first day back in office as part of a broader effort to roll back transgender rights, directs the Attorney General to ensure that males are not detained in women's prisons or housed in women's detention centres. It also prohibits the use of federal funds for gender-affirming medical care for incarcerated individuals. Although the order has faced swift legal challenges, federal judges in 3 separate cases have ruled that the U.S. Bureau of Prisons cannot deny medical care to transgender women or transfer them to men's facilities. In one ruling, a judge stated that the plaintiffs had straightforwardly demonstrated that irreparable harm will follow if the policy were enforced. According to lawyers representing incarcerated transgender women, these legal decisions have prevented the relocation of 17 women involved in the lawsuits. However, transgender women who are not part of the legal actions remain at risk of being transferred. One of those affected is a 31-year-old transgender woman who was recently moved from a women's prison to a men's facility. BOP records show that her official gender marker was changed from female to male. In messages prior to her transfer, she expressed feelings of being like a pawn in others' political games and described the experience as ongoing punishment for her identity. Due to concerns about retaliation, her name is not being fully disclosed. Kara Jansen, an attorney representing transgender women in the lawsuits, reported that another transgender woman not involved in the legal cases was also transferred to a men's facility and had her gender marker changed. Additionally, a transgender woman who underwent gender-affirming surgeries before incarceration was recently placed in a men's prison. Federal law under the Prison Rape Elimination Act mandates that correctional institutions evaluate the risk of sexual violence when making housing decisions and take an individual's LGBTQ+ identity into account. Legal experts argue that Trump's broad policy of placing transgender women in men's facilities directly violates these protections. Jansen criticized the implementation of the policy, describing it as incredibly unnecessary and cruel, and emphasized that her clients are feeling desperate and scared. Advocates warn that transgender people already face disproportionate levels of sexual violence and discrimination while incarcerated. The enforcement of Trump's directive, they say, has intensified fear and resulted in widespread violations of their rights beyond the risk of transfer. Internal BOP documents reveal additional policy changes affecting transgender inmates. Staff are now required to address transgender individuals by their legal names and incorrect pronouns, and requests for gender-appropriate clothing are being denied. The memo also indicates that the BOP has rescinded previous policies allowing transgender women to request pat-down searches by female guards. In other news, the Trump administration has announced the cancellation of $400 million in federal grants and contracts to Columbia University, citing the university's alleged failure to protect students from anti-Semitic harassment. The decision follows Columbia's establishment of a new disciplinary committee and the initiation of investigations into students critical of Israel and its actions in Gaza following Hamas's attack on Israel. The move has raised concerns among free speech advocates. The announcement also reflects a broader effort by the Trump regime and other conservative figures to challenge what they perceive as liberal dominance in American higher education. Clogged gutters are easy to forget, annoying to clean, and can grow into a big problem. There's an easier way to ensure your gutters stay clean and avoid costly damage. Upgrade to a permanent solution you can count on with Leaf Filter, so you never have to clean out the gutters again. Right now, you can get a free inspection, free estimate, and save up to 30% of your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/5minutes. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment engineered to protect your whole home. Clogged gutters aren't just a nuisance, they can cause extensive water damage, so protect your home from flooding, roof damage, rotting siding, foundation issues, and more. Every installation comes with a lifetime, no clogs guarantee. Leaf Filter uses award-winning patented technology to keep out everything but water. No holes, gaps, or large openings for debris to get through. Call today to schedule your free gutter inspection and get a no-obligation free estimate. Protect your home and never clean out gutters again with Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system. Schedule your free inspection and take advantage of the spring spectacular sale with up to 30% off your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/5minutes. That's free estimate, free inspection, and 30% off at leaffilter.com/5minutes. See representative for warranty details. Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education appointed by Trump, warned earlier in the week that Columbia would face funding cuts unless it took further steps to address antisemitism on campus. A joint statement from the Department of Justice, Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Education, and the U.S. General Services Administration described the move as the first round of action, with additional funding cancellations expected. For too long, Columbia has abandoned that obligation to Jewish students studying on its campus, McMahon said in a statement. The statement also mentioned illegal protests on college campuses, a term that Trump has used to describe certain student-led demonstrations, though it did not specify the legal basis for this characterization. Columbia University was at the center of nationwide campus protests regarding Gaza in the spring. In April, pro-Palestinian demonstrators established an encampment on campus, which sparked similar protests at other universities. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects the right to peaceful assembly and to petition the government for redress of grievances. The characterization of pro-Palestinian demonstrators as anti-Semitic remains a point of contention, with MAGA Republican lawmakers labeling the protests as anti-Semitic, despite denials from many participants, including some who are Jewish. On Tuesday, Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that student protesters could face imprisonment, deportation, or permanent expulsion, depending on the severity of their actions. In response, a Columbia University spokesperson told the Columbia Spectator that the university is reviewing the announcement from the federal agencies and intends to work with the government to restore funding. The spokesperson emphasized the university's commitment to combating anti-Semitism and ensuring the safety of its community. It remains unclear which specific grants and contracts are affected. According to the General Services Administration, Columbia currently holds more than $5 billion in federal grant commitments. Columbia is one of 5 colleges currently under the new federal investigation and is one of 10 being visited by a task force in response to allegations of anti-Semitism. Others under investigation include the University of California, Berkeley, the University of Minnesota, Northwestern University, and Portland State University. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.